Putting on a show here at Crypto. Putting on a show. Everybody watching. It's like a free boxing match. It's a free boxing lesson. What is going on, everybody? Thank you very much for tuning in. Lakers over the Minnesota Timberwolves, 94-85, the final score. We are live at Crypto.com Arena. We are here for the pregame. If you listen to the pregame, I'm Nostradamus. I could predict the future. Lakers get a much-needed victory, obviously a must-win in a 7-game set. You can't fall down 2-0 on the road. So much to talk about in tonight's game. A big-time win for the Lakers, a game that they had to have, an ugly, just slugfest. Nobody's going to look at this game and say, hey, you know what, let's watch this every day for the next, couple of years or anything like that. The Minnesota Timberwolves, a season low for points. They only score 85. This kind of reminded me of a 90s NBA playoff game, and frankly, I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. I think there's a lot that we're going to get into. Obviously, series now tied at 1 apiece. The next 2 games are going to be in Minnesota, and the Lakers handle business and do what they need to do here at home. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Please subscribe to the channel if you guys have yet to subscribe to the channel. We're doing post-game shows, obviously, for the entire playoffs. Pre-game shows as well, and then I'll do the morning show at 8 a.m. like I do. Okay, where do we start here? How about we start with what I thought was going to be the most important element of this game. If the Lakers can play defense and get stops, they can win a lot of basketball games. And that's what this thing was going to come down to. Giving up 117 points in that first game is obviously no bueno. Nothing Lakers can do on that front. If that's what you're doing in a playoff game, if you're giving up 117 and you think you're going to go on a deep playoff run, I got news for you. That ain't going to happen. Obviously, the Lakers know that. J.J. Redick knows that. Lakers set the tone defensively. They really won the game in the first quarter because they gave up 15 points in the first quarter. It was 34-15 the rest of the way, or 34-15 at the end of the first quarter. They gave up 22 points in the third quarter, 20 points in the fourth quarter. Granted, Lakers only scored 13 in the fourth. I know there's some areas of this game that actually was really, really ugly, but Lakers won this game because they could get stops. And that's the way, if the Lakers are going to have success, listen, I'd love to see Luka go out there and kill it every night, which, by the way, he is. I'd love to see LeBron get 25 to 30. I'd love to see Austin Reeves get 25. I'd love to see the Lakers put up 120 points a night. It just doesn't happen in the playoffs. And if you're a squad that can get 120 a night, great. The question is, how many points are you giving up? Lakers play defense. They got stops. You know, when I was I kind of mentioned this, that the energy, physicality, the desperation that the Lakers were going to have to play in, they did all that tonight. And again, I'm not going to sit here and try to pretend like it was a perfect game. I'm not going to sit here and try to tell everybody that this is perfect basketball, but this is playoff basketball. It doesn't have to be pretty in order for you to get a W. I don't know what you guys are looking for when you're walking into these games, but I'm pretty sure if you're a fan of the Lakers, all you're really looking for is, did you get the W or did you not? And did you do some things that you feel like you could take from game 2 and move on to game 3? Let me go through this because I think it's a very, very important stat line to point out, all right? Jaden McDaniels, 3 for 11. I was talking about it this morning. Don't overreact to Jaden McDaniels. The guy's not going to go 9 for 11 or I keep forgetting. What was his stats in that last game? It's 9 for 11 or 11 to 13. Let me just look at it here so I don't hallucinate. Shot 84% from the field. Let's see what he ended up going. He went 11 of 13. Jaden McDaniels, for the rest of his career, will never go 11 for 13 again. This isn't a knock at Jaden McDaniels. People don't go 11 of 13 from the field. Okay? It's more has to do with that than anything else. Jaden McDaniels, Lakers did not overreact to him. He went 3 for 11. Naz Reid, who absolutely demolished the Lakers in the last game, 3 for 8 from the field, a complete non-factor, did nothing in this game. He just was not a factor in this game. Those two guys were completely locked up on the defensive side. Lakers did exactly what you were expecting them to do. Take them off the three-point line, at least for Naz Reid. Don't overreact to Jaden McDaniels. And you kind of, made this a slugfest, and it was going to have to be Anthony Edwards to play some hero ball. J.J. Redick is talking. Let's take a quick listen to him.
We were very physical tonight, as were they. What do you think adjustment-wise? What was something that you felt like worked for you guys as you held them to in the low 80s points?
Again, we were physical. I think, playoffs require a different level. And like I said pregame, it took us about 2.5 quarters in game one to get to that level of physicality.
JJ, it was, I think, midway in that third quarter. They cut it to 11. You seemed like you were trying to get you guys to run a play, sideline, call timeout, pretty animated. Because what led to that frustration, and what do you think of the response from the team to, I think, increase the lead back up to 20 in the aftermath of that?
Not frustration, just coaching. I think when we were organized in the right spots, we ran some good stuff, and frankly, I thought we missed some open threes. AR got some great looks. So I mean, other than just a couple kind of disorganized plays, we played good offense tonight, and there was you as a coach, you can see it coming when the other side of that is on the horizon, and it was building, and just wanted to make sure everybody was on the same page.
Just to kind of follow up on that, you guys had 58 points in the first half, 36 in the second half. How much of that was just you felt like the shot quality was good and missing open looks?
I don't know what our turnover total. I know we had at least one shot clock violation there in the fourth, and I don't know what our turnover total was in the second half. But I mean, I can think of 5 or 6 plays. Braun twice from 4 feet in the paint, Rui at the rim, LeBron from the corner, Doe with a couple great looks from the corner. Again, we're going to live with that process and live with that result. And I think it's fair to say we won the game with our defense tonight, but our offense had a lot to do with that. Not allowing them to get out in transition, and when they did, as AR did late in the game, taking the charge, we were able to stop them from scoring, or in some cases stop them from even getting a quick shot up, and then they had to run half-court offense. So I just think as much as it was the defense tonight, our offense actually helped quite a bit with some of the transition stuff.
All right, final one.
JJ, Rui got to your right. Rui got banged up. He has to put a mask on. At one point, he throws the mask off, keeps competing, gets fit for another mask, and he's battling on the block. He's going into the lane on offense. He's trying to get offensive rebounds. Just how do you think his effort typified the shift you guys wanted to see in physicality tonight?
Yeah, he played like a warrior tonight. I'm sure that he's probably in the X-ray room right now. But he did a lot of really good things. I think when we watched the tape, there was a few plays that he made, just getting deflections and disrupting plays, leading to late shot clock possessions for them. Some plays at the rim, that don't show up in the box score, but he was awesome tonight.
All right, we'll stop it right there. Keep things going here on the post-game show. All right, thank you for hanging out. Appreciate you guys being here. I have not looked at the comments yet. I'm going to let the comments do its thing. Let me finish a couple of my points here, and then I'll start looking at the comments. A few things kind of stick out. So I did mention, Lakers defensively, that's kind of what set the tone. You saw what Jaden McDaniels, 3 for 11. Naz Reid, just no impact in this game. You heard what the Lakers were able to produce in the first half versus the second half. I will say this. I think the Lakers can walk away from this game and say, all right, series tied 1 apiece. Let's go back to Minnesota and try to steal one of these next 2 games. Or how about this? How about try to steal game 3, and then whatever happens from there happens from there. I think there's some things that they could take away. I think Minnesota, honestly, for what this game kind of looked like at one point and what it ended up, they could walk away and say, okay, series tied 1 apiece. We went down big in the first quarter. We didn't give up in the game. Lakers were phenomenal defensively. It was a very, very physical game, and they let them play. I'm okay with that. I think Minnesota also kind of walks away saying, all right, this is fine. I asked the question to Chris Finch, the coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves, before the game, and it was just about, how desperate he expected Lakers to play, how his team would respond. And he said, listen, we expect a long series. And he even said something I thought was interesting. He said that, just as easy as we came here and got a game, they believe that they can come to Minnesota and get a win. So I think the point that he was trying to make is nobody's expecting this to be a short series. These are two teams that are very talented, that got a lot of stars, and we kind of expect what comes of this series. And tonight was kind of a perfect example of that. Listen, if people are frustrated how the second half went and that the Lakers didn't blow them out by 25, I get it to an extent. But winning a game in the playoffs, and especially a talented team like Minnesota, this is what it's going to look like. I mean, 13 points in the fourth quarter, that's a concern. I think we'd all say that. Some poor turnovers, some poor shot selection, but at the same time, you held a team to 85 points in the playoffs. There is not a team in the NBA that would not be okay with that. All right, let me start looking at some of the comments here. I have 345 comments. I'm going to go to every single one of them, and we'll be here till 6 a.m. in the morning. And then I'll get 1 hour sleep, and then I'll start preparing for the 8 a.m. show. All right, let's take a look at some of these comments here. Thank you all for being a part of the show. Let's grab a couple of these right here. Amir, this one was one of the most impactful off-ball defensive-minded LBJ games I've ever seen. I like that. That's actually that's a phenomenal, way to put it. Let me look at LeBron here real quick. And you're right. He did the post game right on the court with Mike Trudell, and Trudell pointed out, a defensive play that he had. I think he stole the ball from Anthony Edwards, eventually led to a layup for LeBron. Let me just take a look here. I'm actually curious to see what some of his numbers were defensively. A steal and a block. LeBron, 21 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists. Do you guys remember? How many assists LeBron and Luka had combined in game one? They had 4. Tonight, they had 16. Okay, that's a regular NBA game for LeBron and Luka. But Amir, LeBron was all over the place. The Lakers were all over the place. I think a lot of times it's not going to always point out from a stats perspective, but what he was able to do, just his communication with the team, obviously trying to figure out defensive schemes, how he's basically a head coach that's on the basketball floor. I think that's what you mean from there. Let's get another one here. John Aguirre. Slee, Lakers went after balls, loose balls, blocks. They got stops. This is playoff basketball. Guys, I mean, that's why I think game one was so surprising to me. They came out, and you've heard this a couple times. LeBron said it post-game. You heard J.J. Redick talk about it. They didn't act like it was a playoff game. So all tonight was this is a desperate team that knows they can't go down 0-2, and however you got to get a win, you scratch, you claw, you make it look ugly. Whatever you have to do, you do it in order to get a W. And the Lakers did that. And frankly, that's what was so frustrating in game one. It's like, what the hell's going on here? How come they're not doing this in game one? They did it in game two. Not pretty. I'm not telling you that this was perfect basketball, but sometimes you got to get, it's got to be ugly, and you got to get in the trenches to go get a W. Lakers were able to do that. Mitch Potter. Mitch, John, all of you guys. Amir, thank you guys for being members. I appreciate it. Attacking basket was key. Drew fouls. Collapse D. All right, let's talk offense here real quick. If we guys want to go offense, let's talk offense. Look at Luka's stat line. 31, 12, and 9. That's Luka Doncic for you. 31, 12, and 9 for Luka Doncic. 31, 12, and 9. Think about this for a quick second, okay? If he had 31 points and 9 assists, let's say the 9 assists were just 2-pointers, which they probably weren't, but let's just assume they were just 2-pointers. That's another 18 points that Luka Doncic was responsible for. So the 31 and 18, 49 points. Luka Doncic was responsible for at least 50%, 55% of the Lakers' offense tonight. 94 points for the Lakers. He had 31. He had another 9 assists, so responsible for over 55% of the Lakers offense tonight. There's a gal that works for the SoCal News Group that's sitting to my right here. And at one point, I just turned to her and I just said, how's he a Laker? And I'm sure every single person who follows the NBA or follows the Lakers, or maybe is on a different squad or following a different team, or maybe it's somebody, a fan of the Minnesota Timberwolves that's tuning in tonight. I'm sure everybody has had that reaction 54 times since Luka got traded to the Lakers. Luka's numbers, 31, 12, and 9. And frankly, I thought he got to the free throw line of 11-11 from the free throw line. Only area he struggled was the three-point line. I thought probably a little too much dancing with the Gobert stuff. I think always kind of trying to show something to Gobert, but probably that's because the crowd gets up like it's an and one game out in the streets at Venice. I mean, Gobert switches on to Luka. Everybody's standing up on their feet like it's the final possession of the game. But Luka was just brilliant tonight. And, we're talking about, obviously offensive stats here just because of this comment that I have. Bron, 21, 11, and 7. Austin Reeves, 16 points. Not efficient for Austin Reeves. Well, I'm going to wait on Austin Reeves for a quick second here. But there's your, LeBron and Luka stats right there. Michael, let's get Michael Strauss in the mix. John, thank you, brother. I appreciate that was Mitch Potter. I appreciate John as well. Michael, the 20 spot. Michael, thank you, brother. I appreciate you very much. Thank you very much for doing that. That's very, very kind of you. We found our postseason identity. Slow it down, make it a slugfest, and Luka plus LeBron. Yeah, I mean, listen, I the one thing that I'm hoping for, Minnesota, they make the game ugly as well. Not every matchup's going to be like this, but give Minnesota credit too. Minnesota gave up 94 points and they lost by 9. So Minnesota, I'm sure they feel pretty good defensively. I'm sure there's things they'd like to improve on Luka. They let Luka do the two things. You got to pick one thing with Luka, and I thought they did a good job of that in game one. Either let him score his 30 or have him get 10-plus assists, double-digit assists. He did both. So I'm sure that's probably one area that they want to figure out. I'm sure that's an area that they're, a little bit frustrated with. But I'm okay with slow it down and slugfest. I am, because I think the two high IQ players in LeBron and Luka, you got an advantage. And I think, slowing down the game, the Lakers don't have all these youngins where it's like they want to run up and down the floor. That's not Luka style. That's not LeBron style. At this stage of LeBron's career, that's not a style. Okay, let's take a look at a few more comments here, and then I want to talk about a couple of the other players. Mitch Potter here in Minnesota, Wolves fan chats are panicking a bit. Listen, I said after game one, I wasn't going to panic too much because I did feel like there was areas that the Lakers could improve on. And I still think the Lakers are going to win this series in 6. Here's where I'll tell you, Minnesota, here's where they should panic. Lakers, let me go back a little bit to the pregame show. I'm not telling you that J.J. Redick wasn't giving Minnesota credit for what they were able to do. But I asked specifically about Naz Reid and some of the looks that he had and kind of ways to slow him down. And he basically listed off all the mistakes the Lakers made on defense. I don't think he was trying to take away anything from Naz Reid or the Minnesota Timberwolves, but I think what he was trying to say is if we do our job, Naz Reid's not going to get those kind of looks. Lakers did their job tonight. If I'm Minnesota, what I would be panicking about, and I've kind of said this before, that they need 5 guys to contribute in 4 games. They already got that to happen in 1 game. They need it to happen 3 more times. The way the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to win this series, or the way Minnesota Timberwolves are going to, move on to the next round, the way that's going to happen is Anthony Edwards got his, Julius Randle got his, and then pick 2 or 3 more players, Naz Reid, Nickeil Walker-Alexander, Dante DiVincenzo, I already said Naz Reid, Mike Conley. You got to pick other players that are going to contribute, Jaden McDaniels, because If it's 2 guys, it ain't happening. If it's 3 guys, I don't even think that's enough. I think they need, a real balanced attack, which they had in game 1, and they clearly did not have in game 2. All right, let's look at some more comments here. What are the latest ones that we got here? Art of War, 100%. That's a very good point. Art of War. I didn't even get to see your great point. Can I see the great point that you had? Lakers need to get Wolves in foul trouble early. Okay. Let's keep this energy for game 3. Let's see what else we got here. They need to move the ball more down the stretch. Don't rely on ISO. Other players lose the rhythm. I agree with that. Too much ISO. I actually was not crazy about the Lakers offense. Once they came out in that first quarter and just had an unbelievable first quarter. I mean, the Lakers were just brilliant in that first quarter. Let me look at one thing here. I want to see the first quarter. 34 points in the first quarter. After that, 24, 23, and 13 in the fourth quarter. So certainly the numbers came down. Certainly Minnesota. It's kind of a weird game. I think you could have called. There were a lot of fouls called, and you could have probably called a lot more fouls. Just a very, very physical game. 25 free throws for the Minnesota Timberwolves. 20 free throws for. How about this? Lakers 20 of 20 from the free throw line. Sheesh, that's going to get it done. Lakers were awful from 3, by the way. 6 of 29 from the 3-point line. And Minnesota was 5 of 25. Both of these teams were 20% from the 3-point line. Yeah, I mean, we all know about today's NBA. Not exactly the greatest look for either of these squads when it comes to that perspective. Let's get some more in here. Let me guess. Minnesota fans are complaining about the fouls. I don't know. I mean, listen, if you're Minnesota, you can't go down by 20 plus in the first quarter, and then you're playing catch up the entire game. I don't think Minnesota should be complaining about that. I think Minnesota should be complaining about their own squad if they are complaining, because a lot of those players that performed for them in that last game just didn't perform for them tonight. So if they want to shift their attention in any direction as far as complaining, they got to actually shift their attention to themselves. I thought there was a lot of players for the Minnesota Timberwolves that underperformed. Let me look at the efficiency real quick for Julius Randle and for Julius Randle, 9 of 17. That's not bad. Anthony Edwards, 10 of 22, but only 2 of 8 from the 3-point line. It was everybody else. 3 of 11 for Jaden McDaniels. Rudy Gobert, to be honest with you, has not had much of an effect on this series at all. 6 and 6 for him, so that's nothing. Mike Conley was 0 for 5 from the field. Their bench, who dominated in that first game, was a non-factor, I thought, tonight. Nikhil Walker-Alexander, 1 for 6. Dante DiVincenzo, 1 for 4. Naz Reid, 3 for 8. If the Minnesota Timberwolves want something to complain about, they got to be complaining about a lot of their players, their role players, their bench players. That's where their complaining should be. It definitely should not be, anything towards the Lakers. All right, let me get a couple more comments in here, and then we'll see who the Lakers got coming up as far as a guest. We'll watch that as well, and then I want to look at an interview, and I also want to look at some more comments here. I got to give some love to a couple other players for the Lakers. I thought Rui Hachimura had a good game. Let me kind of pause right now because Austin Reeves is grabbing the mic here. Let's get Austin Reeves, see what he's got to say about the Lakers.
No, I just thought we played harder. I spoke about, how they play every single game, regular season, postseason. They play hard as shit. And if you don't meet that physicality with physicality, then you're seeing the result. So that was, an emphasis going into the night was, play harder.
Some looks from 3 that you usually hit weren't going down. Did you adjust and think about getting yourself to the bucket, getting into some of that mid-range action to get yourself going after that?
No, I don't really ever just sit there and think about, shots I'm going to take. If I'm open, I'm going to shoot it. If not, I'm going to try to, make a play for a teammate. Unfortunately, I got 4 good looks to start the game. Let's say 3. One was not that good of a look. I shot it anyway, but just didn't make it. And if you start the game over, I have those 3 looks, 4 looks again. I'll probably shoot the bad one again too. So, I trust the work that I put in, and like I've said a million times, I just continue to try to play the game the right way.
Rui left the game early. I did it written first. There we go. Left the game early. Had to get fitted for mask. He threw that mask off, ended up trying another one out, and he's still mixing it up in there, both offensively and defensively. What do you think of his effort in kind of maybe being an example of the type of physicality that you all were able to play with tonight?
Yeah, I thought Rui was big for us tonight. He didn't get that many shots, but the physicality that he played with on the defensive end, even after, get hit in the nose, whatever the situation is, he came back out and it, didn't look like, anything had happened other than him wearing a mask. He was out there, competing his ass off every single possession. He had a couple really, really good possessions guarding Julius Randle in that third, fourth quarter, where he just stood his ground, made him take tough shots, and didn't foul. So he was big for us tonight.
After Minnesota cut it to 11 midway through that third quarter, I think about midway through the third, JJ was pretty animated after he called timeout. What was the message to the in the huddle after that timeout was called, and what you make of the team's response? I think you guys went on a 9-0 run to get the lead back up to 20.
Well, you were asking what he was animated about?
What was he animated about? What was the message in the huddle?
Play better. I don't know if y'all have talked to him. If he wants to say what he said, he can. Just say he wasn't happy, and we responded well.
One more question.
Austin, you took that big charge when they were in transition late. What did you see on that play? And just also LeBron had his steal with the finish in transition. I think it got to like 9 at that point. Just what did you see in terms of your guys' defensive playmaking in crunch time?
I thought it was huge because our offensive playmaking in the fourth quarter was not what it usually is. I made a couple really bad plays. We had a couple turnovers, and in those situations, you just gotta, lay it all out on the line and do whatever you can do to, help your team win. And in the playoffs, you like I've spoke about, you win on the smallest margins, or you lose on the smallest margins. So a play like that in that situation, everybody on our team's ready to sacrifice their body to get a win.
All right, stop it right there. Kind of keep the post-game show going. I know I got a lot of comments I want to respond to. I did mention, a couple of the Lakers I want to point out. I thought Austin Reeves, I had mentioned before the game started, I felt like the Lakers really, really needed him to step up tonight. He was okay. I like the looks he was getting. He's talking about in the first quarter. He was firing a rate. The fact that he went 7 of 14 from the field and 0 of 6 from the three-point line, I mean, kind of tells you a little something. But if I told you he shot 50% from the field, he had 16, 5 and 5 in a playoff game, I'm good with that. I mean, he just hits one of those threes, one of them. He's at 19 points. So I'm not, I thought Reeves needed to respond tonight. I thought it was what was important for him is he still got buckets, still got some twos, still got 5 rebounds and 5 assists. So if your shot's not falling, your three's not falling, are you doing other things to contribute? I thought he did. Rui had 11 points and 5 rebounds. Somebody was asking what happened to Rui. He took a shot to the nose there. So if you listen to JJ Redick, he said that, he's probably getting some kind of x-ray or something like that. So Rui, a warrior tonight. Dorian Finney-Smith had 7. Gabe Vincent had 6. So finally, a little bit of contributions. They really didn't do anything in that first game. So some balance tonight. You got 4 guys in double figures, and that includes one guy that had 31. So that much more balance for the Lakers than I thought it was for the Minnesota Timberwolves. All right, let's take a look at some of these comments here. We got a lot of comments here. A lot of comments. People got a lot to say here. All right, let's see what we got. HH, thank you, brother. I appreciate the super. Very, very nice of you. HH always contributing here to the channel. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Jay says, Lakers got lucky. Wolves missed bunnies. Stop with the BS analysis, Slee. Thank you, Jay. I appreciate your input. Thank you so much. All right, I guess I'll just stop telling the truth and just accommodate to whatever you want to hear. Wolves missed bunnies. Yeah, Lakers missed some bunnies as well. Wolves shot 20% from three. Yeah, Lakers shot 20% from three. Lakers jumped out to a 22-point lead. So I'm not sure what analysis that you're looking for, but either way, I appreciate you being here. Thank you for hanging out. You know, if you run a restaurant, not every customer can be happy. There's only so much I can do. Only so much I can do. Theodore, neither Braun or A had good offensive games, to be honest, but our defense won it. No question about it. The defense won it. No question about it. Minnesota role players will play better at home. That's a good point. You know, I said this a little bit earlier. I do think there's something to that. I do think that the Timberwolves, they're going to go home. They should feel good about themselves being series tied 1 apiece. They should feel good that they went down 20 but kind of hung around and still made it interesting towards the end. But it's a slugfest. And role players do play better at home. You're right about that. You're right about that. Naz Reid, some of these other guys, they're going to have to go back to the drawing board and try to get the looks that they were looking for because they definitely didn't get it in this game. All right, let's get another one in here. AR, thank you, brother. I appreciate the 20 spot there. Thank you, AR. Thank you, buddy. So, yeah, don't worry about the offense. The defense is the main point. LeBron was excellent tonight for the defense. I need LeBron to have at least double-digit reboundings. Thanks for the show, brother. AR, thank you. I appreciate you. Yeah, I've said this before. I think offense kind of comes and goes. There's going to be games Lakers will light it up and everybody's hitting shots. But if you're not engaged defensively, you don't give yourself a shot to win the game. Lakers were not engaged in game 1 and they got their asses kicked. So I think it's a phenomenal point. The LeBron piece of it, what LeBron have rebounding wise? I mean, here's kind of the beauty of LeBron's game. LeBron was 21, 11, and 7 and was the second best player on the floor for the Lakers. You know, Luka's basically LeBron. I know they're different, but from a stat perspective, 31, 12, and 9. That's what LeBron does. That's exactly what LeBron does. There's only a few players in the NBA that can basically get you triple doubles every single night and really, really impact the game and get any bucket that they want. Luka's one of them. LeBron's been doing that for 22 years in the NBA. AR, thank you for the super, brother. Appreciate you. All right, let's take a look at some more comments here. Hey, Slee, what's the key to avoiding these long scoring droughts? You know, honestly, I think they get too complacent. And somebody had said it in the chat, and, you know, it's not even me. So I'm not even answering your question. Somebody else answered it, you know, for you. They just start the ISO ball. I think ISO ball is one of the worst things you can do in the game of basketball. I think it's stagnant. I think it is very, very lazy way to play. I get it. Sometimes you got superstars. You want those superstars to cook. Maybe you like a certain matchup. But if all of a sudden that's not working, or your star player missed a couple shots in a row, or you feel like they're taking bad shots towards the end of the shot clock, run some plays. Run some plays. Even if you run plays for other guys and you're using your stars as decoys, that will kind of get them ignited a little bit. It will give a little bit of a break for some of your superstars who feel like it's not all on their shoulders as well. So that's one thing that I would say there. And thank you for chiming in. Anthony with a 20 spot here. We had AR with a 20 spot. We had Michael with a 20. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that very much. Very, very nice of you guys to be doing that. All right, let's take a look at a few more comments. I know we're going to get a chance to hear from LeBron. We'll get a chance to hear from Luka. So we'll continue to obviously get a couple more players involved in this as well and go from there. Lakers 14 turnovers, Wolves 13 turnovers. You know, it's interesting. If you do look at some of the team stats, Lakers shot 45%. Minnesota shot 38%. But, again, I'll go back to this. I don't think Minnesota just had a bad shooting night. I think the Lakers were all over them. They were in their pocket the entire night. Wherever Minnesota went, Lakers were there. So I give the Lakers a lot of credit for that 38% shooting. This is not like one of those nights. You know, game 1, the reason why Minnesota also shot so well, they got a lot of open looks. Just the Lakers defense wasn't there. That wasn't the case tonight. If Minnesota there are a couple shots Anthony Edwards hit, I'm like, there's nothing you can do about that. That's a tough shot. Anthony Edwards. I'll talk about more jump shots. I mean, sometimes he gets to the basket. I think the Lakers contest him very well. You know, Ant feels like he's hanging around. Once he takes off, I feel like he's in flight for 15 seconds. but Lakers were smart how they defended him. But the point I want to make is there's a lot of kind of similarities in the stats, team stats. Lakers shot 20% from the 3-point line. Minnesota shot 20%. Both teams got to the free throw line over 20 times. Lakers hit 20 free throws. Minnesota hit 20 free throws. They got 25 attempts, by the way. Offensive rebounds was the same. Assists, a lot more assists for the Lakers, 23-14. So give that advance to the Lakers. Points in the paint was identical at 46. Fouls, 24-22. The difference was really the first quarter, the 34-15, and then they were, obviously playing from behind the entire time. So I think that also had a lot to do with it, from my perspective. All right. I'm going to get some more of these comments here. I'm sure we're going to have another player that's going to be talking here shortly. Before we do anything else, shout out to Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm making it happen. Playoff season, everyone's breaking down matchups, watching film, looking for the edge. And you know what? Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm, they're doing the same thing, but they're doing it in the courtroom. I've known Brad. I've told the story before. I've known for about 5 years when I was over at 710 ESPN. He kind of handpicked me like, hey, I want that guy to be doing my ads for me. And here we are 5 years later, still got a partnership. He followed me onto YouTube, just a great person. And I'm very, very happy to have this partnership with him. We know this time of the year in the league, it's all about showing up when it counts. That's exactly what Brad Wallace and his team does. This is what I made this. I talked about this yesterday, and I talked about it today. They just got a $4.6 million verdict in a tough case, by the way, against Home Depot. That's not luck. That's preparation, execution, and not backing down. Let's be real. Not every team that makes the playoffs has a shot. The same goes with law firms. Some talk a big game, the Wallace Firm. They deliver big cases, big pressure. They stay cool, and they come through. I'm going to give you guys a URL to go to, wallacewins.com/Sliwa, wallacewins.com/Sliwa. If you want a personal introduction, I'm happy to do so. You can also get a free consultation at that URL as well. Thank you to Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm for being a phenomenal partner here on YouTube. Okay, let's get to some more of your comments here. Let me just make sure there's no interview. There is not. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got here. I don't know. I'm coming in late on the Boston stuff. A lot of people not that happy about Jackson Hayes. Yeah, I just don't know how much Hayes is going to get an opportunity. I really don't know how much opportunity he's going to get. I think the Lakers are just more comfortable without him right now. The guy he can't stay on the floor. He commits a lot of fouls. So, but listen, there's going to be times where they're going to need him. So, hopefully he's obviously around to step up when the Lakers do need him. So something to keep in mind as we get a little bit deeper in the playoffs. Couple days rest, by the way. So Lakers won't play now for a couple of days. They don't play until Friday. So as ugly of a game as this was, everybody can rest now. Luke on the Lakers win, and his second game as a Laker in the playoffs.
Are you talking about defense or offense?
Yeah, defense.
No, we did the same game plan. We didn't really change much. It was just the question of if we're going to be more physical or not. And I think we showed that. And we were there for 48 minutes. We got big enough first quarter. I learned from the last game, and we just stick to it.
You of course have experience with Minnesota from last year. You know what it's like as they go throughout a series. Playing in that building? How do you feel like that energy is going to be as you go there 1-to-1?
Oh, it's going to be high. I remember that they have amazing fans and they're very loud. So from the first moment, they're going to make it. At some point, they're going to make a run. But we got to stay together. It's us against the whole arena. So it's going to be very tough. I experienced that, and it wasn't easy. So we got to stay together no matter what.
Look, they cut it to 11 in the third. You guys were able to push it right back. I think a 10-2 run. Then they got it to 9 in the fourth. Again, able to hold them off. What were those moments like for your group? How do you feel like you leaned on one another to make sure that it didn't get any closer?
Yeah, I mean, they have a great team, so at some point they're going to make a run. Just no matter how we responded. We responded by being who we are, and I think like I said, I think we responded very well. And from on, I mean, to win a game, scoring 13 points in the fourth quarter, it's not easy. It was from defense and then going on from there.
It seemed like the team as a whole did better with getting deeper into the paint, and that kind of helped get Minnesota into rotation. The kickouts were there. You kind of led the charge in that. Was that a talking point over the last couple of days, and how much, if it was, how much was that emphasized coming into tonight?
I think when we touch the paint, a lot of great things happen. Gets them in the blender, and we just gotta do that more. Obviously we talk about it. Gotta touch the paint no matter what. So that's what we're trying to do more, and I think we can still do a lot more than that.
Hey, Luka. You obviously played a lot of playoff games before you even got to the NBA. But now that you've had enough NBA playoff games under your belt, what have you sort of learned about when to stay calm and still versus when to really panic? Or not you ever panic, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, obviously not panicking, but as me and Braun, leaders of the team, we got to keep the team together. Like I said, going into to Minnesota is going to be a war. The fans are going to be cheering like crazy. So no matter what, we can't panic. We got to stay together, and that's on me and Braun to keep the team together.
All right, I'm going to stop right there. There's Luka getting his thoughts on his first playoff win as a Laker. And, obviously – excuse me. Thank you. Got people saying bless you here. The polite workers here. People right around the corner waiting for me to sneeze. Sliwa, bless you. All right, I might get another one in here. All right, Luka gets his first W as a playoff game as a Laker. I love what he was talking about going back to Minnesota. This is the type of player. In the NBA, you got certain types of players. It really, in sports, the bigger the moment, the more that the situation becomes more hostile. Yeah, they like those moments. Luka's going to like those moments in Minnesota. And I'm sure for Minnesota, who, thought they might have a trip to the NBA Finals last year, it was stopped by Luka and the Dallas Mavericks. I know the team was completely different. The construction of the Dallas Mavericks and even the construction of the Minnesota Timberwolves this year, it's different. So it's not the same thing. But Luka Doncic is the same player. He's a player that loves those opportunities. He loves to go in, other people's backyard and try to get a W, and he's certainly going to try to do that coming into tomorrow's game. Or, Friday's game. The one thing I was mentioning, a lot of time off for the Lakers between now and the next game that the Lakers play. So they are going to get a couple more nights to kind of relax before, obviously they get another chance here in Game 3. But we have a couple days here to talk about Game 3, so I don't need to break that one down all that much. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, I got to be honest with you. I almost blew out my back. Almost took out my back, but I kept going. A lot of podcasters, they don't, they can't do that. They can't play through the sneeze. They can't play through the sneeze. All right, let's get a couple more in here. Anyone else catch Luka getting left hanging by Reeves right after the game? Hilarious, always possible. I didn't see that one. Pull out the bottle of bourbon. I might need it. All right, let's keep going here. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, my back, as in with the sneeze. I put so much effort into that sneeze. All right, let's. I got a couple supers here that I want to get to. I want to shout out Mitch Potter here, who's very nice here to gift out 5 membership. Have you guys members yet? Come on. I'm throwing out content up here left and right. $3 a month to support the channel. That's all we're looking. Be an MVP member. This week, I owe everybody 2 live shows just for members. I wasn't able to do one on Friday, so I'll still do one on Friday, but I'll have another a live show at some point that I'll be doing. Probably, we'll see. Maybe over the weekend. I'll kind of have to figure out when it's going to be, but I'll be doing that as well. All right, let's take a look here, Mitch. But I appreciate Mitch. I really appreciate you doing that. Showing some love to the sponsor. Thank you to Walls Firm for sponsoring our favorite show. Thank you. Thank you to them as well. I appreciate that. Love all around here. Love all around here. All right, let me get another one here. Absolutely love JJ's energy tonight. Saw his hands the whole night. I don't even think his pants have pockets. Hell of a ball club. Salute. Lakers in 5. Yeah, there is a little bit of – I do think there's a little bit of him. I didn't see the clip. I mean, I saw the clip, but I couldn't see what he exactly said. I know he was hallucinating during a timeout. Austin Reeves was kind of making fun of it as well. To be honest with you, that's what fans want to see. Fans want to see that from your head coach or something along those. They like that stuff. They like when the coach is as passionate as the actual players. They're as passionate as the fans, right? That's what they want to see. That probably doesn't happen enough in sports, but it's not everybody's personality. So I don't really kind of look at it and pay too close of attention to it, but I know it happens. All right, let's get a couple more here. All right, let me get another super in here. Luka will be money as playoffs continue. AR will gain confidence, and LeBron will do whatever it takes. John, that's a great point. I don't think I question any of that stuff here. Luka will be money as the playoffs continue. He will be the best player on the floor as, obviously things continue. AR's just got to get back to being AR. I mean, I really do feel like a couple of his shots fall. Like I said, if AR just hit 1-3 tonight, he's 19-5-5. Nobody's asking for anything else from Austin Reeves. He shot 7 of 14 from the field. He shot 50% from the field, 16-5-5. If you told me AR was going to shoot 7 of 14 from the field, he goes 16-5-5. You taking it? I would have taken it. The problem is he just is struggling from the three-point line. 0-6 from the three-point line. I think only shooting 20% from the three-point line in these first two games. Let's see. We'll see if I just missed any of these here. I think I got this one a little bit earlier. Yep, I think I did get that one from Mitch. So thank you, Mitch, again for the super that you threw out there. Let me kind of keep looking here. Game 3 is the most important game of the series. Usually those are game 5s. I think those are usually game 5s because let me play out a couple things here as eventually we'll start paying attention and we'll start focusing on what's going to happen for game 3 coming up for the Lakers. Let's just say hypothetically, Lakers won game 3 on Friday at 6:30. Let's say they won that game. All right, now they're up 2-1. But then they lost the game. They lost game 4. Now it's 2-2. Doesn't game 5 become the most important game? I think game 5 to me is the most important game of a series because whether the Lakers win or lose game 3, they got a chance to either take complete control of the series in game 4 or they have a chance to, obviously tie the series up in game 4. So obviously every game is important in the playoffs. I thought this game was as critical as it gets because if you do go down 2-0, then we obviously got a big problem. All right, AR thrown off by not getting his usual space with shimmy. Okay, game 2 was most important up to this point of the series. You're right, it was. Game 3 Friday at 6:30. Game 5 series don't get to game 5's. Let's see. It will game 5. I mean, we know this much. We know at the absolute worst, this series is coming back to crypto. The question is going to be, will it be tied? Will Lakers be up 3-1 or will Minnesota be up 3-1? Yeah, I agree with this. Only need a split in Minnesota. It's true. That's all they do. Literally, all they need is a split. If they get that split in Minnesota, then you come back. But if you come back with a split, you're tied 2-2. It's a best of 3 now. Yes, 2 of them are going to be here. It just kind of shows how tough of a series this is going to be in the type of dogfight, especially if we come back and the series is tied at 2 apiece. All right, let's get a couple more in here. So can we do a pregame party for game 3? It's a Friday. If I could think of something and think where I'm going to be. I think most likely I'm going to be in Solana Beach. Most likely. Most likely I'll be down in San Diego doing the game from my office. All right, let me think about that. Listen, if anybody wants to come, there's 38 breweries right around that area. Okay, let me look at a couple more here. Lakers winning 3 straight games. I still think it's a tough series. That's the best way that I can put it. It's going to be a tough series. If you think that, obviously this is going to be hey, Lakers are going to take this. I don't think so. I'll stay with my prediction of the 6 games, but Minnesota can easily bounce back and take game 2, and then now all of a sudden you're down 2-1 again. I think the most important thing, at least from my perspective, for the Lakers is that defense has got to be what drives this team, and that's what's got to kind of be the foundation of this Lakers squad. Minnesota will respond. That place is going to be rocking when they play on Friday. I mean, you kind of think about the environment there. They did exactly what they set out to do. They came out here to get 1 game in LA, and they got 1. And they at least got the Lakers' attention from the perspective of you could even grab game 2, but it's going to be a dogfight. It's not going to be an easy game, and that's kind of eventually what ended up happening here. I thought the Lakers actually did a pretty good job on Ant tonight as well. He had a couple highlight moments, but that's going to happen with Anthony Edwards. There's really no way at all of stopping Anthony Edwards from, obviously doing what he does. But I think for the Lakers, you just got to make it as tough as you can for him, and I thought they did a pretty good job of doing that. All right, I think we're going to get LeBron here pretty soon. Hopefully LeBron goes here so we could kind of get his thoughts and he could give his analysis of the game as well. Instagram, any updates on Bron? Am I missing something? He doesn't look right, but tend not to pay as much attention to defensive play. I think listen, there are times that LeBron just shows his age. I mean, I don't know what you want me to tell you. I think there's times where he literally just looks like a 40-year-old that's on the court with guys that are 23, 25, 30 years old that are significantly younger than him. But I don't think there's anything wrong with him, but I do think that we see that more times than not. All right, let me get let's see, are they going there? Is he talking? All right, Bron's talking. All right, Bron is talking. Let's take a listen. Let's get his thoughts on the game.
Series. When did you know tonight that the team was going to be having the requisite response?
We knew yesterday at practice. We had a tough practice yesterday, and we went at it yesterday, and one of the best practices we've had all year. We kind of knew coming out of that what type of disposition we had to play with. We watched film before practice. It wasn't good. Game 1 was not good at all. We're all competitors, and so that's what it took.
I want to go through all of our meetings first, and then I'll get to everybody else, okay? Coaches.
The offensive organization was something that JJ talked about a lot, quite a bit, actually, coming out of game 1, even yesterday. How would you rate how you guys performed in that area tonight?
We could still be better offensively. I thought at times we were very sharp, but at times, we weren't. And I think, we could do a better job on the offensive end, but we're going to continue to get better, continue to watch the film, see ways we can, kind of break down the defense and continue to get good looks. I thought we had some great looks tonight. I know a lot of my shots in the fourth quarter were great looks that just didn't go. And if we can continue to, get great looks like that, I think we believe in our percentages. But we got to continue to work the habits. We got to continue to work the habits, and continue to shoot the ball with confidence.
LeBron, they only had 6 fast break points today after having 25 in game 1. What was the biggest difference there in terms of transition?
Just sprinting the hell back. Giving up fast break points, obviously sometimes it's nothing you could do about it. If a long rebound happens, you got 4 guys on the baseline, long rebound happens, they're able to sprint out and get it. But, most of the time with fast break points, it's about energy and effort. And I thought our attention to detail and our attention to the effort, that side of the flow was very in tune with that. Like I said, game 1, giving up 25 fast break points on our home floor was not an ingredient for winning.
Hey, Bron, on Mind the Game pod, you talked about how you live for this time of the year, calling it a drug. Obviously, you always talk about how important it is to stay even keeled. You've taken teams to the finals 10 times, won 4 championships. After going down by as much as 27 points in game 1, what was your message to the guys?
I think you just said it. Just staying even keel. It doesn't matter if you lose by 100 or you lose by 1. I mean, they both hurt. You can't sleep. So it's about how you stay even keel and then how you make the adjustments going into game 2, or game 3, whatever the case may be. So, I thought, we looked at what we didn't do so well, which was a lot of things in game 1. We took that to heart. We hold each other accountable. We make the adjustments, and we had a better outing tonight. And now we need to be even better on Friday, going into Minnesota. So that's what the playoffs is all about. But you got to be able to stay even keel no matter what's going on.
Hey, LeBron, JJ said he hasn't done it a lot this season, maybe about 5 times or so, but Minnesota cut it to 11. He called that timeout, and he's very upset. He said he wanted you all to tap into your sense of urgency. How much was that needed in that moment, and what did you think of the response?
I thought we responded, well, just from the timeout. We know JJ is going to spaz out from time to time. That's JJ, and so it's at this point for us is obviously we need to listen to the message and not the way how he's delivered it. And for me, as my high school coach my freshman year was kind of the same way. He would spaz out on us, and you have to be able to understand about it's not how he's saying it, it's about what he's saying, and I thought we responded after that.
All right, I'm going to stop right here and keep the show going. Let's do some roll call. Where are you guys tuning in from? Talk to me. Where's everybody tuning in from? Where are you tuning in from? What city? What state? Maybe you're somewhere in the States here. Maybe you're somewhere around the world. Tell me where the hell you're tuning in from. I want to know. All right, I'm going to give some shout-outs. Game 3, like I mentioned, is coming up on Friday. A couple quick things I'm going to promote here real quick. Tomorrow morning, I'll do my show at 8 a.m. Trevor Lane of Lakers Nation is going to join me probably about 15 minutes in. I think 8:15 he's going to come on. So we'll enjoy a nice Laker conversation with Trevor Lane. So please join me for that, and we'll continue breaking down the Lakers. Let me see what else I missed here. If Julius Randle is their top scorer, we won. I agree with you on that. Or how about this? How about if Julius Randle leads them, which, by the way, 27 points, 6 assists for him. Not a bad game or anything like that from him. He's putting up some stats here. But his turnovers were a lot less, too. He had 7 turnovers in the last game, just had 1. But if they got 2 guys scoring 20-plus points and nobody else in double figures, yeah, I don't need to tell you guys that. I mean, I'm sure Minnesota's talking about that. They're not going to win many more games if that's the case. All right, let's get to some of these. Let's get to our roll call here. Everybody hallucinates with roll call. I don't know what's going on with roll call. Everybody just wants to. All right, here we go. Got to find it. Tucson, Arizona. Thank you for tuning in. Indianapolis, appreciate you being here. Lisa Viejo, thank you very much. Rochester, New York. Anaheim. Italy at 7 a.m. Look at Matteo doing work. Matteo, can't get an invite to Italy? Come on, man. I'll bring, what do I need? I just need my mic. I need my mixer. I need my laptop, and we're good. I could do the show from there. Come on, man. Camarillo, Moreno Valley, Afghanistan. Thank you very much for being a part of the show. Akron, Ohio. Albuquerque. The DBC, which I think it was LBC. I don't know. He changes it every time. Crenshaw in the house. Thank you very much for tuning in. SD. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hey, you guys know my SD roots. Appreciate you tuning in. Compton, California. All right. Oxnard. South Bay 310. Atlanta in the house. Nashville. Orange, California. Clemson. Costa Mesa. Huntington, New York. Thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate it. Melbourne, Australia. Vancouver, Canada. The Bronx in the house. Hey, the Bronx. San Clemente. That's not a bad area. Coachella Valley. Thank you for tuning in. North Hollywood in the building. Tustin, California. Corona. Minnesota, thank you for being here. Ogilvy, New York City, Anaheim, Kansas City. Got a Chiefs fan in the building. East LA, thank you for tuning in. Livermore, Huntington, New York, Riverside, California, Cal Heights, Long Beach, thank you for being a part of the show. Pittsburgh. It's so funny where everybody is. Everybody's everywhere. Milwaukee, Seattle, Corona, California. I appreciate you guys all being a part of the show. Some love here for Trevor Lane tomorrow. I like that. San Antonio, Bakersfield. I think I already got Corona. Boston in the house. Cali in the house. Newberry Park. Inland Empire. Zimbabwe? Amazing. Spring Creek, Nevada. All right, I appreciate you guys all being a part of the show. If I miss you guys, my apologies. I'll try to get to – I know I saw Hawaii in here. I saw Wisconsin in here. Greenville, South Carolina, I got in there. East L.A., Plano, Texas. Thank you very much all for being a part of the show. So I appreciate it, guys. Bakersfield, Lake Elsinore. I saw Cambodia in the house. Thank you all for being a part of the show. Thank you. Long Island. Okay, here's what we got going on. Tomorrow, 8 a.m., I'll be back on. We'll keep breaking some stuff down. I wanted to get to, try to get an hour of the show in. So we got an hour of that post-game show. Hopefully you guys are enjoying a little pregame action as well. My goal is to make that happen on Friday as well. Thank you for being a part of the show, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. Lakers tied the series against the Minnesota Timberwolves. They win 94-85, tied at 1 apiece. Now the Lakers go out to Minnesota for Friday and Sunday, 2 games over the weekend. It's going to be fun. See what the Lakers can do there. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Thank you, everybody. Please subscribe to the channel. I'll see you at 8 a.m.